Alright, today we're going to pre-trip a Bracken County school bus. And here's your host, Gary Clayton.
As we approach the bus, we're going to check the posture of the bus to see if it's leaning to one side or the other, which would indicate a flat tire, broken shock, or other suspension problems. Look under the bus, check for oil, transmission fluid, water, air, antifreeze leaks. Check for tree limbs or other foreign objects stuck in the axle. Check the 2 yellow, 2 red loading lights, the 3 ID markers. Check both turn signals, both headlights, all reflectors and reflective tape. Make sure they're all securely mounted, proper color, and not broken. Check the crossing gate if equipped. Must be secure, not broken, and returned properly. Check the crossover mirrors. They are securely mounted and not broken. Check the wipers. They appear to be securely mounted. The blade is not dry rotted. The tension on the arm is sufficient. The washer fluid tube is mounted securely and not dry rotted or leaking. Check the hood latch for dry rot and mounted securely. Check for any damage to the hood.
Now we're going under the hood to the engine compartment.
We will check the oil, the transmission fluid, and power steering fluid. Take out the dipstick, wipe it off, stick it back and pull the stick out again. If less than full, add oil. Check the transmission fluid the same way, only while the motor is running. Check all hoses to make sure they're mounted securely, not dry rotted, and no leaks. This is the heater hose, this is the radiator hose, this is the power steering hose. Check the wiring. Make sure it is covered with the protective wrap, not rubbing together, which could possibly cause a fire. Check the air compressor, power steering pump, and hose. Make sure they're mounted securely, no cracks, not leaking, and they are gear driven. Check the water pump. It is mounted securely, no leaks, and it is belt driven. The belt has no more than 3/4 inch play, is not torn or frayed. Check the boot to make sure it's not dry rotted. Steering rod to make sure it's not cracked or bent or has more than 1 inch of play and mounted securely. All bolts are present on the steering box. It is securely mounted and not leaking. The pitman arm, drag link, tie rod, and tie rod ends are mounted securely. No cracks, and the cotter pins are in place. Check the shocks. They are fully extended and mounted securely, not leaking, and no damage. Check the springs. None are broken, missing, or have shifted and have not been welded. The U-bolts are secure. Checking the spring hangers for cracks, breaks, or damaged bushings. They are mounted securely to the frame. Check the air lines. Make sure they're mounted securely, not torn or frayed. I hear no leaks. Check the brake chamber for dents or air leaks and mounted securely. The safety band is secure. Check the slack adjuster for any breaks, mounted securely, and the push rod has no more than 1 inch of play when pulled by hand. The cotter pin is in place. Check the brake drums. Check the brake drums. They have dust covers on them, but I can see they're not cracked, not damaged, and no grease or contaminants, and brake linings are not worn excessively thin. Cracks, breaks, or welds. Check the tires inside and out for cuts, bruises, and bulges. Check the tread for at least 4 32 inch tread depth. Front tires can't be recapped or mismatched. Check the lug nuts. Make sure they are mounted securely, not missing, no shiny spots or rust trails. That would indicate that they are loose. The lug nut hole is not cracked or distorted. Check the hub oil seal for leaks, and it has sufficient oil. Check the valve stem for damage. It does have a cap on it. The tire pressure is 100 pounds and checked with an air gauge. Check the windshield washer fluid and the radiator coolant reservoir to make sure they're mounted securely, have sufficient fluid, and are not leaking. Check the alternator. Make sure it's mounted securely. The wires are attached and not frayed. The alternator is belt driven. The belt has no more than 3/4 inch play, is not torn or frayed. Looking at the tires, shocks, springs, and brakes. I will check this side the same as I did the other. Go to the door side, start with the mirror. Check the mirror. It is mounted securely and not broken. Check the door. It opens and closes freely. The hinges are secured and not rusted. The seals are soft and pliable, not dry rotted. The glass is mounted securely and not broken. Check all the windows down the side. They are mounted securely, not broken. All emergency exits are clearly marked. Check the 3 running lights. The entrance light, turn signal, and 2 reflectors. They are securely mounted, the proper color, with no damage. The fuel cap. The seal is not dry rotted and is intact. Seal is intact. Okay, I've got to find where I was. Check the fuel tank for excessive rust, holes, or leaks, and is mounted securely. The band around the tank is secure. Check the protective cage around the fuel tank. It is mounted securely, no damage. Check the drive shaft for any breaks or bends. It is mounted securely and has safety hangers in place. Ready? The U-joint is free of any foreign object. Check the drive shaft for any breaks or bends. It is mounted securely and has safety hangers. The U-joint is free of any foreign objects. Check the exhaust for cracks, dents, holes, rust, or soot. The system is mounted securely. Check the frame, cross members, floor for cracks, unauthorized welds, or other damage. The springs, they are mounted securely, not cracked, broken, welded, none have shifted. The spring hangers are mounted securely, not cracked or broken, and the bushings are not excessively worn. Check the brake chamber. Can you see it?
It's way in there.
Cracks, dents, leaks, it's mounted securely. Safety band is in place. Brake hoses. Make sure the hoses aren't torn, frayed, or leaking, or no loose couplings.
And a lot of that stuff is the same as on the front.
Basically all the same as on the front, only it's the rear wheels. Brake drums, no cracks, dents, holes, missing bolts, grease, contaminants. The linings are not worn excessively thin. Slack adjuster is mounted securely, not broken, and the push rod will not move more than 1 inch. Pull by hand. Cotter kin's in place. Cotter key is in place. Check both rims inside and out. Tread depth on the back tires should be at least 2 32 inch. Back tires have 100 pounds of pressure when checked with the air gauge and can be recapped. Lug nuts mounted securely. No shiny spots for rust. Trails indicate they are loose. None are missing. The bolt holes are not cracked or distorted. Air valve is not damaged. They have caps on them. It says mud flaps here, but I don't see the mud flaps. They're not torn. They're at least 6 inches from the ground. The axle seal is mounted securely. All bolts are tight. None not leaking. Has adequate grease. This bus has bud rims. If it had spacers, check to make sure they are not bent, damaged, or rusted through. They should be evenly centered with dual wheels and the tires spaced evenly separated. Looking under the rear of the bus, check the shocks for damage. They're fully extended, mounted securely, and not leaking. Check the airbags. They're securely mounted, full of air, not leaking. Check the tailpipe. It's secure, no holes, excessive rust, and extends at least 1 inch beyond the bumper. Check the 2 red and 2 yellow loading lights, both turn signals, both big and little brake lights, both backup lights, the license plate light, reflectors, and reflective tape. Make sure they are all mounted, not broken, and are the proper color. We have an official Kentucky license plate. Check the emergency door. It is not damaged, opens and closes freely, and latches properly from the outside. The hinges are secure and free of excessive rust. Check the glass and the gaskets for cracks and breaks. Moving to the other side. This side, the same as I did the other side with a few exceptions. Check the stop sign to make sure it's not broken and it is clean. If it is not enclosed, I'll check the boot for dry rot, for air leaks. Check the cable.
There's the boot. Cable.
Check the cable for proper tension. Make sure the cotter pins are in place. The lights have no damage, and the wires are connected securely. Moving to the inside of the bus. That's all there is. We're going to check the emergency door on the driver's side, checking to see that the latch opens and closes, the door seals securely. It is marked proper emergency, marked